Resistance Fall of Man was the PS3's big game for a while, and now the franchise is moving to the PlayStation Portable with Resistance Retribution, which was just announced at E3. We're here to check out what gamers can expect with this handheld version, so Jeremy, let's start right in.
Thanks, Jess. Well, obviously, guys, this game was huge on the PlayStation 3. It was its frontier franchise on the system when it launched. I'm glad that it's finally coming to the PSP. As a fan of the series, what are you guys going to do to keep me in terms of the storyline? Where does this pick up? How does it bridge the two games together?
We're actually really excited because it is a bridge between Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2. We have chimera types that we share between the two games. You'll see in the demo that we're about to do. You'll see some of the drones that you see in Resistance 2. Plus, we've brought back some of our favorites from Fall of Man, like the Titan, the Slip Skull, and the hybrids, of course.
Is Nathan actually in this game? Are we following his character as he moves from Resistance 1 to 2? Is it what is the who's the protagonist here?
We've actually created a new protagonist. It's an all-new story built from the ground up for the PSP. His name is James Grayson, and he starts his career as a lieutenant in the Royal Marines under Cartwright, but through some unfortunate circumstances, he finds his brother in a conversion center, being converted into a chimera, and he has to kill his own brother. So that's sort of the dramatic moment that sets up the whole story.
Cool. Let's check out the game. See what got going on here.
Fire it up.
There we go. So now you see James Grayson. He's wearing his brother's bomber jacket. That's sort of the icon for our game. And he's fought his way down into this huge chimera conversion facility beneath the city of Bonn. The whole game takes place in the European continent. And in this particular level, Grayson has to find Rain Bouchard, who is a member of the Maquis, the French resistance. And he has to fight his way through this vast chimera facility. You see this waterfall off in the distance. That's actually the Rhine River, which has been diverted by the chimera to power this huge facility beneath the city of Bonn.
Are we going to revisit any of the places that we saw in the first game or that we're going to see in the second game?
No, these are all new locations that are completely unique to the PSP.
What about the setup of the game itself? It looks like now it's a third-person shooter instead of a first-person shooter. Are you going to be able to actually switch between modes, or is it specifically this way? I ask because Killzone Liberation was one game that went from being one extreme on the PlayStation 2 to another on PSP. What's your philosophy in trying to tie the games together here?
Well, we decided because we're building a unique game for the PSP, because it's a single analog stick game, we really felt like going with a third-person perspective enabled us to concentrate on the movement, moving everything to the left stick. So a first-person perspective like they have in Resistance, I think sort of requires two analog sticks. And what we did instead was we created this new aiming mechanism. So if you see the 4 brackets there in the center of the screen, as Chris is fighting the Titan here, you'll see that the reticle stays on whatever target is within those 4 brackets. So this aim assist allows us to put some skill into the game. You still have to aim the camera with the face buttons, but it's much easier to do because you can just tap between targets. If he had multiple targets right now, he'd be able to tap between targets on the screen.
Chris, I noticed that you're switching between the different weapons here. Is the weapon system like this, or does it have a quick weapon swap if you want to do that instead?
Yeah, we've incorporated the weapon ring that for Resistance Fall of Man first introduced, but we also have a quick tap as well that'll let you cycle through the weapons.
What about the in terms of the multiplayer? In Resistance on PS3, that was one of the big drawing points. It supported a huge amount of players. What kind of multiplayer approach are you taking here?
We actually have a really robust multiplayer system, but we're not talking about it today.
Not at all?
No,
not even if we say
please? You just have to trust
What if we
us. It's
gave you
gonna
a
be
producers
Snickers
would
bar?
kill
I
us.
think I've got a Snickers bar back here.
But at least we've confirmed that there is multiplayer.
There is
so that's
multiplayer.
good. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of when this game's coming out, we know it's coming out in spring. But does that mean at a particular time? Have you guys nailed down a month yet, or is it still? No, just whenever in that season.
We still have a few months to decide because we're still working on our exact schedule for putting polish into the level. So we want the game to be as good as it can possibly be.
Is there going to be any connectivity between this game and Resistance 1 or 2 in terms of maybe using some of the USB port to tie them together?
I think that's a really cool idea, and that's also something we're not talking about today.
So yes.
But that's not a denial either. How many different stages do you think we could expect when this is finished?
There's actually going to be over 20 levels. That isn't exclusive. I haven't told anyone else that.
Awesome.
Oh,
levels.
yeah, and I'm not kidding. We will give you candy for that.
Right.
We have it
Excellent.
right out there.
Yeah,
All right, guys, this is really awesome. Thanks so much. PS3 fans have to be happy about getting to play one of their favorite franchises and getting an exclusive. Everyone will be back in just a few.